in the 6th. For Houston, they have 2 players who have scored multiple goals in this tournament so far, and Rachel Daly and Shea Groom. Washington still trying to find a second player to get a first player to get multiple goals in this tournament, and that could happen today. Ashley Hatch looking to be one of those players for the Washington Spirit. Another beautiful day in Herriman, Utah, as we kick off the final round here in preliminary, the 4th and final game before we move on to the knockout stage, which will begin on Friday. Another great day of soccer coming your way right here on Twitch.
And now to honor America, we will play the U.S. national anthem.
Washington Spirit and the Houston Dash coming your way in just a matter of minutes. But first, we take a look at our players to watch out for in this one, and we'll begin with the Washington Spirit and Ashley Sanchez.
So many Ashleys on this team, right? Ashley Sanchez had a great first pro assist with her sneaky little back heel to get it over to Sam Staub to help Washington find the equalizer late against Portland. She has been magic for the Spirit, and Richie Burke hopes that continues. Then for the Dash, of course, we want to take a look at veteran Christy Mewis. 1 goal, 1 assist in the tournament so far. With that goal, she is the only NWSL player who has scored every regular season and in the Challenge Cup. A big part of their attack, not only finishing goals, but helping create goals.
Beautiful cross there on that corner coming from Christy Mewis to Rachel Daly. And Christy Mewis will have a big role in that midfield. But for Washington, a little bit different starting 11 here for Richie Burke.
No Rose Lavelle for this game, holding her out with a minor ankle injury. So Bailey Feist coming in. Great to see Sanchez getting another start up top along with Hatch. And then the back line, the original back line that he played the first 2 games, McGrady, Nielsen, Staub, Huster, that's pretty tough to beat.
For Kumi Okayama, she'll look to make a difference up top as well for the Spirit, as we take a look now at what James Clarkson will roll out for his starting 11.
Resting Megan Oyster since she's sitting on a yellow, so we're seeing Allie Prysock slide over to her normal center back position. Veronica Latsko getting the start up top with Rachel Daly, Katie Stengel, and Sophie Schmidt. This is the player to watch for me, Josh. What she can do with that midfield, not only attack-minded, but defensively.
Sophie Schmidt will have a big role in that midfield, pairing up with Mewis and Shea Groom. It's going to be another fun one this afternoon. Kicking it off will be the Washington Spirit and the Houston Dash. Both teams looking for 3 points there. You see veteran Tori Huster, all 8 seasons with the Washington Spirit, one of the leaders on Richie Burke's club. For the Spirit, they come in 1 win and 1 loss and 1 draw for 4 points. Houston Dash with that exact same record. We showed you earlier the standings, how it's all jumbled up top. Both these 2 teams looking to separate themselves and move up in the standings, but more importantly, get a win as they move into the knockout stage.
You want that momentum going into the quarterfinals that kick off Friday. Also going to be quarterfinals on Saturday. But you also have to manage minutes, right? Which is why we're seeing slight modifications to the lineups for each game. You want the players to be fresh when they go into Friday. Washington Spirit playing this game with 3 more days rest than the Houston Dash.
Spirit will be in their dark blues, and Houston will be in the white kits. Josh Toll and Jen Cooper with you this afternoon. Another great game here coming at you on Twitch. For the Washington Spirit, in this game, in this tournament so far, they have scored 3 goals. They've allowed 4. Meanwhile, for the Dash, they were lethal in the beginning, 5 goals, but they have also allowed 5 goals. They kind of fell apart against Sky Blue, so they're looking to rebound after that loss of 2-0 as Tori Huster plays it down the line to Yokoyama. This one takes deflection, bounces off Stengel. Paige Nielsen plays it inside.
Yeah, same records for these teams, both 1-1-1, but different ways of getting there. And like you mentioned, Dash have scored more, but they've also conceded more. And that's going to be a very important tiebreaker when the final standings shake out. Goal differential, goals for, even yellow cards accumulated.
For Houston, no injuries coming into today's game. For the Spirit, Jordan DiBiase out, as well as Jesse Scarpa. You did mention Rose Lavelle being out at the start of this one. But for Houston, that's been a blessing, having a full squad each and every week. Still have to manage your players. You talked about Megan Oyster getting the rest today, mainly because the yellow card that she has, but also just to give a little rest, she had started the previous 3 games for the Dash.
So at this point for the Dash, only center back Katie Naughton has played every minute. On the Spirit, of course, you have the center back pairing of Sam Staub and Paige Nielsen that have played every minute.
Houston near side, goes over the top, looking to go direct, trying to find Ashley Hatch. Now will be played out, last touch by Allie Prysock. You've seen Prysock play at the outside back position, but sliding back over to the center back. She does have experience at that position, so it's not an unfamiliar move.
She got a lot of experience last season playing center back for the Dash, with Claire Polkinghorn being gone for the Women's World Cup and then departing the team early.
First free kick, or first corner kick here of the afternoon. As this one's whipped in, headed down, cleared up. That hit off Stengel, rejected at the end line. One of the Dash players, maybe Rachel Daly, able to clear that away.
Looks like that was Daly.
Heads up play there by the Dash, preventing that one from going in.
And that's great teamwork by Rachel Daly. Here's the corner, sent in with a header. Yokoyama gets a look. Jane Campbell off of her line, but that is great defense by Chapman and Daly to be back on that line, and Daly clears it.
Yokoyama looking for that first goal. She had 2 great chances against Portland. Made Bella Bixby have to dive for both saves. But Yokoyama getting more confidence here as this tournament has progressed. Latsko sends it in, comes to the spot. Stengel brings it down with the left, takes a ricochet. Feist, and she'll play this all the way to the center. Hatch trying to get around none, but flag is up.
I love that battle between Ashley Hatch, Alicia Chapman. Richie Burke not happy with that call, though. Hatch was one of the team leaders last season and league leaders in fouls committed.
Hatch called into the ID camp last December for Vlatko Andonovski and the U.S. national team, as this is played wide. Daly. And Daly is going to be called for offside. Back-to-back offside for both squads.
I like that pride captain's armband we're seeing for the Dash. Lots of teams treating today's games and tomorrow's games as their pride matches, since they were unable to have any home games in June. And we don't have NWSLshop.com open yet, but I bet you if you check the team store for any of the clubs, they'll have some pride merchandise.
Groom trying to slot that one back to Stengel. Another great thing, NWSL HPA will be donating $50 for every goal scored this weekend. They'll do that. They'll donate to Athlete Ally. Hatch. Feist loses possession. Good job there by the Canadian Sophie Schmidt playing it away, and Groom plays it out of play.
The NWSL Players Association, Josh, run by two former players, Yael Averbush and Brooke Elby, who just retired from Chicago last year. They represent all the players in the league who are not part of the U.S. women's national team. They've done a lot of great work since their formation 2 years ago.
Stop to the third-year player in Paige Nielsen. Chested down, Yokoyama. Finds Hatch, back heel. Chapman plays it all the way back to Jane Campbell. McGrady plays it down. Daly with the hold-up. For the dash, they will like to go direct a little bit more so than the Spirit. Spirit have shown it earlier here that they're not afraid to move the ball up towards Ashley Hatch, but they are not a team that is afraid to possess the ball and build with patience. Stop, the second-year player, finds Sullivan. Sullivan, such a key piece to Richie Berklink in the back line to the front line.
And Josh, it's so interesting to see how both of these teams have changed during the offseason. Spirit bringing in another big group of rookies. They basically have 7 first-round picks in the last 3 drafts, whereas Houston just had 1. So Houston's offseason change was mostly trading away players and bringing on other NWSL veterans. Spirit, of course, having the youngest roster in the tournament, with Tori Huster being their only player over 30, and she's still nowhere close to being the oldest player in the tournament.
138 regular season games for Tori Huster. Great look at second-year coach, James Clarkson.
He actually took his blazer off. It must be pretty hot out there in Herriman, Utah.
This one chested down by Chapman. Back heel from Latsko. Chapman tries to send it across. Lisa Chapman getting her 3rd start here in this Challenge Cup. Had a breather in the last one.
And for all the teams that started the tournament on June 30th as opposed to June 27th, Josh, rotation is going to be more important than the teams that started earlier, just because they will have fewer rest days coming into this final game of the first round.
For Houston, just 3 days off from their last game. As this is looped over, Chapman making a run into the area. Great looking setup, but once again, the flag was up. One of these teams just looking to time that pass out properly. Might get a threat here. Beautiful look.
Coming up the left lane, wonderful weighted lofty ball for Chapman to run onto. Called offsides, collision with Paige Nielsen as well. One of these days, Josh, I know Alicia Chapman's going to get her first NWSL goal.
Alyssa Chapman, one of 3 Canadians on this Houston Dash team. Michelle Prince and Sophie Schmidt being the other.
And Megan Kelly, Canadian-American. So
dual citizenship.
Does that make 3.5 Canadians? All 4 have been capped by the Canadian national team.
Stop. See the high pressure there by Katie Stengel, but stop. Diagonal pass, no one up front. Not in her first year with Houston. Spent the previous years with Chicago.
Yeah, her first year really being away from not only Chicago and where she grew up, but just that part of the country as she played collegiately at Notre Dame. But I've heard she's really embraced the Tex-Mex cuisine in Houston, so she must be happy.
When you find good food anywhere, it's hard not to be happy. Feist, the second-year player, plays it over to Huster.
And I think that has to be one of the biggest challenges for these players as they're hitting that point where they've all been in the bubble 2 weeks or more, right? You're probably not having as much food variation. You can't go to your favorite places. It's, got to be a little frustrating.
Hatch. Great ball in there by Tori Huster. Hatch just not able to get enough power behind it.
Huster through, give and go. Hatch, it seems like it rolled off her shoulder. Easy ball for Jane Campbell to pick up.
Ashley Hatch, she leads the Spirit in shots attempted. This is played over by Daly. We've seen Daly play pretty deep here to start this one off in the first 11 minutes. Not afraid to play, to get in the attack and get back defensively.
And one of the things that the Dash does expect, the coaches expect for the Dash is interchanging lines, right? Whether that means midfielders and forwards swapping for the attack, but also that, as we've seen, Rachel Daly getting back as needed.
Sullivan back to Huster. Well, the goals for Richie Burke is possessing the ball. Washington third best here in this Challenge Cup. And we'll try to lull you asleep and take advantage of the spacing that you give them. Nielsen into the middle. This one played out to Staub. Staub, last year Rookie of the Year finalist. Rookie of the Year award would go to Bethany Balser of Reign FC, now OL Reign.
My vote went to Sam Staub. Played every minute.
Hatch trying to get around Naughton. We will have a free kick for the Spirit. We may even have a yellow card here.
A very dangerous situation for the Dash here, Josh. They gave up 2 goals on restarts against Utah in their first game. Yellow card for Katie Naughton. That's one other player who's going to have to be cautious going through the quarterfinals. She gets tangled up with Hatch. Bringing Hatch down right outside the box. Thankfully, it's not a penalty. Kind of surprised the yellow went to Naughton and not Prysock.
So now Naughton, one of 3 players on the Dash with a yellow card. Megan Oyster and Brie Vasali, the other 2.
And the yellow can affect the player, but it can also affect the team standings if they need a tiebreaker. Andy Sullivan looks to be lining up for the kick.
Dangerous chance here for the Spirit as this one just outside of the area.
McGrady with her.
You got the left foot of McGrady, the right foot of Sullivan. Bending over, and that one caught by Campbell.
Well read by Jane Campbell. Good positioning for her wall.
For Houston, that was almost a repeat of the first game against Utah when Vero had a set piece just like that. McGrady unable to convert like Vero did, though.
And I would imagine, Josh, as this tournament has progressed, teams have been able to make tweaks after each game, right? They have been unable to film practices because of how close the teams practice together, but I'm sure that game film they're going over a lot.
Staub on the return pass. Staub with the big goal in the tie against Portland. That one coming off a beautiful back heel by Ashley Sanchez just to keep the play alive on the corner. Quiet day here early for the rookie Ashley Sanchez.
Richie Burke raves about her and says just her only challenge is being able to create her magic consistently, that she'll have a brilliant moment and maybe step out of the game for a few seconds and eventually come back in. But so much potential in the young star, the youngest player who's seen the field in this tournament.
Huster plays it out wide. Yokoyama, square ball to Hatch. Hatch to her left, drops it off for Feist. Feist fires away and finds the corner, and the Spirit have the first goal. Bailey Feist with her first goal here in the NWSL Challenge Cup.
And Josh, that's the second time in 4 games that the Spirit have found net in the first half. We have not seen a lot of first half goals in this tournament. Yokoyama sending it into the middle. Immediately the dash swamping Hatch. But Hatch passes it off to Feist, who gets it just past Jane Campbell. It looks like it's gonna go out, right? Jane doesn't make the dive, ball goes in. First goal of the tournament for Bailey Feist, the 2019 draftee.
For Bailey Feist, 1 goal in her rookie season last year. She matches that total with that goal in the 16th minute. Now Houston having to play from behind. The Dash can put up goals though. Tied for the lead with North Carolina with 5 goals.
And the Dash have not lost to Washington Spirit in their last 7 meetings. And even one of their 2 come-from-behind wins last season was playing at Washington. Losing 1-0, they came back to win 2-1.
Yokoyama outside. McGrady up. Sanchez trying to get it outside, but right there is Rachel Daly. Groom heading the other direction. Finds Stengel. Sullivan giving chase, but Stengel's going to run out of room. Still looking for Houston to get something going in that final third. In this opening 18 minutes, Washington has had more opportunities in their attacking third.
Houston saw so much attack potential in the first 2 games and was really thwarted by Sky Blue in that last game. Now, when they have gotten shots on goal, they've converted more than half of them. But it's interesting to see how, of their shots, very few have been on target.
It's the final day of the preliminary round. Both teams now playing their 4th game, but shooting for that final Sunday, July 26th on CBS. We'll also have it here for you on Twitch. That game, of course, will be at 12:30.
Yeah, all 8 teams will play their final game of the first round today and tomorrow. And so finally, by tomorrow night, we'll have the exact quarterfinal slate. All we know right now is North Carolina has the top seed, and they'll play the first match on Friday.
You could very well see movements from that 2nd spot all the way down to the 9th spot. Just 2 teams looking for their first win here in the Challenge Cup. As Yokoyama has a chance here. Try to slide that one through. Hatch diving forward. Prysock right there. This one cleared only as far as Feist. Feist. Yokoyama. Huster looking to send it in towards the spot. And that one headed away by Aaron Simon. Corner here for the Spirit.
Again, Yokoyama coming through, creating danger. Hatch trying to pounce on it. Jane Campbell and several of her defenders are there. Prysock making the crucial tackle to keep that wide. Such a dangerous combination we've seen between Yokoyama and Ashley Hatch.
McGrady lines up. Left-footed ball driven. Prysock goes up to clear it out of danger. The Spirit, they had the fastest goal coming into this game. That was scored in the 8th minute by Rose Lavelle. 8 minutes later, though, today, Bailey Feist with her first NWSL Challenge Cup goal. That one coming in the 16th minute. Huster in the circle. Long ball over the top. This one nodded back, but Aaron Simon couldn't get it to Campbell. Corner from the other side for the Spirit. Simon was trying to do the right thing by playing it back to Campbell. Just did not have the angle she needed. Dorian Bailey will head to the far corner. Bailey, a second-year player out of North Carolina. Into the 6. And Feist was able to get a shot on target, but Campbell saw it all the way.
Feist doing great work in her second start of the tournament. Third start, excuse me.
High pressure from Yokoyama. Played out by Campbell. Chapman. Houston unable to build possession up top.
And a long boot ball like that isn't going to help.
And now Washington has had their way in that final third. But here pressure by Daly. More pressure, and Bledsoe plays it out to Nielsen. On the back, but no one there for Ashley Hatch in the Spirit.
Interesting to see how high Alicia Chapman is pushing up on that left flank. Katie Naughton pushing over to cover.
Chapman. Grady on the far side will give it right back to Staub. Staub and Nielsen, the two center backs, played every minute so far.
And I think as the tournament progresses, our list of Iron Women will slowly shrink. It's not necessarily a bad thing, right? This is compressed tournament, altitude, turf, a short preseason, more subs and larger rosters. It's been such a great opportunity to see the rookies and other undrafted players get a chance to show what they can do.
Looking for Houston, they've used pretty much every player, all but 3. And for the Spirit, they've used every player except for 2. Offside flag up. Seen that go both ways against both the Spirit and the Dash. Soccer fans, the official shop of the NWSL is coming soon. Visit NWSLshop.com now and sign up to be the first to receive special offers and promotions. NWSLshop.com, the official place to gear up and support your favorite team, coming soon.
I'm hearing we should see that store sometime during the quarterfinals, and I would definitely go there now and sign up so that as soon as it's open, you get an alert about it. Also get some special deals. But if you can't wait to buy something, I mean, any of these teams, they have online stores. You know, if you want this new Dash jersey, it's the homage to the Oilers of the early 80s, the Love You Blue era. What now they're calling it Love You Dash. And I know, Josh, you're still trying to decide for each team which player's name you want on back of the jersey. And so I think you're just going to have to invest in, like, 20, 30 jerseys.
Well, we were talking about how you get a home, you got it away, you have an alternate kit.
Get a training top, get a goalkeeper jersey. And there will be tournament-branded merchandise on NWSLshop.com. So if you want a Challenge Cup t-shirt, something like that, should be coming up very soon.
Feist plays it back. Here's Nielsen. Such a young core for this Washington Spirit team, but it looks like veterans all over the field with their composure that you see.
Well, when you look at last season and how much experience they got, and they really exceeded expectations. I know they didn't exceed their own. They thought they should have been in the playoffs, but to have a young core get so many minutes their first year means you're coming into a second year with a really great group. And now you've got a rested, mostly healthy Rose Lavelle.
Here's rookie Sanchez. Trying to find Ashley Hatch.
Jane Campbell being challenged more in this half than probably any other half so far in this tournament.
Houston looking for better build-up here in this first 26 minutes.
Yeah, they really got shut down against Sky Blue, and I feel like part of that was the battle between Sky Blue's McCall Zerboni and Houston's Haley Hansen. I think Zerboni, won that one easily.
Hughes with the left foot plays it all the way down to Bledsoe.
And game to game, as we do see some major lineup changes, not everybody's making major lineup changes, but we've seen some. Like Sky Blue's lineup from game 2 to game 3 was incredibly different. So it's hard to gauge, well, this team didn't win their last game, so we should beat them. No, the parity in this league is so tight. We saw the standings. We'll look at them again later. It's going to be a nail biter, really, as we go into these last few games of the first round.
One team has secured a position, that's North Carolina. McGrady with the left, and that one right at Campbell. She's been challenged early.
Sometimes that's a good thing for a keeper. You're in the game. You're making good saves. You feel in control. You start helping distribute, help create that attack.
Really gives you that rhythm right away. And for Aubrey Bledsoe, still yet to have faced a shot. Sullivan through ball, and Feist is offside.
And Josh, the Spirit are the only team in the tournament so far that have not recorded a shutout.
Tegan McGrady, the player down for the Spirit. For Tegan McGrady, just appeared in 6 games her rookie season. Back to being healthy, but right now getting up slowly as we will go to the hydration break. Our score, Spirit 1-0. Lone goal coming from Bailey Feist in the 16th minute. We'll be right back here on Twitch. Welcome back. Washington up 1-0 in this one. Josh Toll and Jen Cooper with you. Before we went to the hydration break, Tegan McGrady was the player down. She went to the hospital after the last game against Portland. We're worried about a dislocated jaw, but she got checked out. Everything was done. They followed protocol and making sure that Tegan McGrady had everything that she needed in terms of mask, gloves on. She only spoke with the medical personnel while she was at the hospital, but able to come back into the bubble. But Washington and the league making sure that she followed all protocols to make sure that she's safe and that her team and the rest of the league as well.
The league has been so serious about these protocols. You can tell all the players have taken them seriously, and they've been fortunate enough so far that they've had no one since entering the bubble test positive.
Spirit looking for their second win here in this NWSL Challenge Cup. 5 teams right now with 4 points. We could see a lot of movement here over today and tomorrow. Prysock getting the start today with Oyster sitting on 1 yellow card. We do have 1 yellow card handed out in this one. That one to Katie Naughton.
So whoever wins this game, Josh, will at least temporarily be in second place with 7 points. A tie puts both teams on 5 points, which is good, but not as great as 7 points, obviously.
Daly fighting through that.
These teams tied twice last season, both scoreless draws, but clearly not going to be a scoreless draw tonight.
Aubrey Bledsoe, last year's goalkeeper of the year. 9 shutouts, just one behind Nicole Barnhart, who had 10.
And we heard she would have been in Vlatko Nanovsky's talent ID camp last December if she wasn't already committed to playing with Sydney FC in the Australia W League.
Hatch. Out wide, Feist. Feist on the line. Bailey turns away from Groom.
Yeah, I've talked about how great this back line is, Josh. They've been able to start basically every game together, just resting Tori Huster to start one match. But the work that Andy Sullivan is doing in front of that back four is so crucial. She is really what's shutting down most of the dash attack.
Nielsen pushes it ahead and played back by Naughton. Just like to see Houston gather some sort of possession in this one as we're 33 minutes in as Mewis applies the pressure. Bailey. Good battle there between her and Shea Groom. Of course, for the Houston Dash, Shea Groom and Rachel Daly both with 2 goals each.
And both with 1 assist. So they both sit right behind Lynn Williams in the Golden Boot standings.
Schmidt to Daly. Daly turns away, avoids Feist. Nearly lost possession, but it pops right over to Schmidt. Prysock. Another turnover for the Dash. Hatch at midfield. Latsko. Houston doing a good job there possessing the ball, but only doing it in the midfield. Just need to build some sort of confidence here going forward to be a threat in that final third. Sanchez, the rookie, looking for Yokoyama. Good job by Naughton just letting that ball roll into the hands of Jane Campbell.
Seems like communication between that back line and Jane Campbell is much smoother this game. Both goals Dash conceded against Sky Blue seem to have come from Jane coming off her line with her defense, not necessarily aware of what she was doing.
U.S. one of 4 former Spirit players on this Dash squad. Pressure there by Chapman. We've seen some mistakes by goalkeepers trying to clear the ball away. Stengel nearly took that one away. Bailey. Staub plays it out wide. For the Spirit, they will use the whole pitch. They will try to stretch you as they will try to get width on you as well. Sanchez looking to dribble by Simon. Simon denying the rookie. Simon in her 3rd year in the NWSL, played her first 2 seasons with Sky Blue, and Katie Stengel offside.
Simon, of course, leaving Sky Blue and spending a couple years in the FAWSL. One of several players to rejoin NWSL after having played in England for the last season or so, like Brie Vizali.
Brooke Hendricks, the other one that also played at West Ham United.
It's been great to see the movement in a way among the different leagues as we've seen Europe put more money into the game, more opportunities for players from the U.S. who maybe don't get drafted or don't get a tryout opportunity. And then, of course, next year we'll have NWSL team number 10, Josh, with Racing Louisville FC kicking off. Now we know what their colors are and their name and their brand. They're already selling merch too.
We were talking earlier before the game how beautiful that logo is still when we were looking at it.
Going with lavender because there's no pro sports team in the country that uses lavender.
That's another one. When they start to put out kits, that's going to be an exciting one to get at some point down the road. This one played out. Going way of Washington. Spirit looking for their second win here in the NWSL Challenge Cup. Quarterfinals will begin on Friday.
Friday we'll see North Carolina take on whoever ends up in the 8th seed in the early game. And then we'll see 4v5 play the late game. Other two matches will be Saturday. All of them, of course, you can watch with us live on Twitch.
Weiss sidesteps Schmidt. Stop with the return pass. Last year, two-time Team of the Month player.
Yeah, since we won't have Team of the Month voting this season, right? I'm assuming there's going to be a best 11 for the tournament. Oh, actually, I know there's going to be a best 11. It's going to be the Google best 11 for the tournament, and we're going to have the Verizon Golden Glove and the Budweiser MVP. How awesome is that?
Got more great awards.
More
Definitely.
sponsors for the awards. I'm hearing we might do some fan voting for goal of the tournament.
The two that come to mind right now, Shea Groom's flying header and Lindsay Herriman, her diving header.
Yeah, those would be my 1 and 2. And then Paige Nielsen's header off the flick from
Stop.
Sanchez. Stop.
Don't cheat those center backs out of their goals.
That was such a tough one to call the other night. It's just a gaggle of white jerseys that you can only see from the side. Calling the replay, we just kept calling without names until we could actually see who it was.
Yeah, I still love how Ashley Sanchez said, I don't know how he played it back, but you'll take it, especially when it leads to a game-tying goal. Ball given away, Hatch. Looking to tee it up, does. Right at the belly of Jane Campbell.
It must be that glow-in-the-dark gold jersey, right? They're just sending the ball straight to Jane.
Other than the one shot that went in by Bailey Weiss, Campbell has not had a move.
Her positioning has been really strong since then.
Yokoyama. Feist. Nearly stolen away by Chapman. Yokoyama finds Hatch and given away. And then you have the miscommunication there between Naughton and Pricesock.
Or I would say slow communication. They were talking to each other, not realizing that you had a non-rushing Spirit player.
Great look at Kumi Yokoyama. 43 caps with Japan as Sanchez has it in the wing. Sanchez backing up Pricesock. Careless pass there by Sanchez, not on the same page.
Good clearance by Sophie Schmidt. She's got a few caps for Canada.
Over 180?
199.
That's right, she's sitting on one
She's
away.
sitting on 199. Who knows when international teams will be able to play again, but
It's hard to believe that Sophie Schmidt made her Canadian debut at the age of 16.
and when she hits number 200, she will just be the 22nd person in the world, all women, of course, to hit that milestone.
Mewis threads it through to Daly. Flag is down. Daly with an opportunity. Up to the corner, off the bar. That one looked like it skidded off the bar and out. Great look there by Rachel Daly as she nearly had her third goal of the Challenge Cup.
And of course, it starts with a through ball from Christy Mewis. They've been combining all tournament. Left footer to the upper corner. No way Aubrey Bledsoe would have been able to stop that, but the crossbar does.
Best chance of the afternoon for the Houston Dash, just narrowly misses.
And we've seen the last 5-10 minutes or so, Dash kind of balancing things out in midfield, slowly getting more possession of the ball. Haven't seen Washington get a corner in a while.
Daly looking for that third goal. For her and Shea Groom, both with 2 goals each. They are the only team that has multiple players with multiple goals.
And in that first game against Utah, Josh, Dash went down 1-0, and Daly equalized right before halftime.
Feist. Huster making the run. Feist at the top, back outside. Huster. Sullivan coming up to break up that pass. McGrady. This is game 1. Of course, tonight we will have Chicago and Utah. That one at 10 Eastern. We'll have it right here for you on Twitch. At half, we will have highlights and stats here from this one. The lone goal coming in the 16th minute by Bailey Feist.
Utah sitting on 4 points, just like Washington and Houston. Chicago with just 1 point in 3 games, which really doesn't reflect how strong their performance against North Carolina
Houston
was.
playing quick. Stengel at the end line, crosses, and Bledsoe right there. Stengel does have an assist. That one coming back in the tie against Utah.
Good movement into the box for Stengel, but I feel like she took a little too long trying to get something going. It was easy for Aubrey Bledsoe to read that cross.
It's one of those ones where you think she could have taken a shot a little bit earlier.
Yeah, be Wayne Gretzky. You know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Katie Stengel, that 1 assist, though, matched her total last season with Utah.
Definitely used more as a hold-up player for Utah last year compared to the previous year, where she led the team with 6 goals.
Sanchez brings it down. Quiet afternoon so far for the UCLA player. Sanchez, of course, one of 3 players to come out of college early. Tierna Davidson and Sophia Smith being the other 2. Yokoyama turns away. Nielsen. Washington once again building with patience. They will not force anything if they don't have to.
Richie Burke so much about the passing, the possession, the control. What I think his goal is, 500 passes a game.
Feist offside.
And I loved reading the article about Washington Spirit recalibrating their culture, the article on The Athletic. Highly recommend a subscription to The Athletic. To talk about his motto was rear view mirror it. Everything that was problematic before he came on board. It's like, we're making changes. We're not looking back. We're doing things differently. He even had a whole list for the ownership, the new majority owner at the time, of I am not taking this job unless you make all of these changes. And you can see how much these players enjoy playing for the Spirit, enjoy playing for him, enjoy playing with each other.
Last year, 9 wins for the Spirit, 7 more than they had in 2018. 2 minutes of stoppage time added on here, and once again, another offside flag is up.
I'm pretty sure without looking that Houston leads the tournament in offside calls, which I have to say is surprising because they did trade away one of the league's all-time leaders in offside calls, Kalia Watt. And I say that in a nice way.
Watt will be playing once again tonight. More great action coming your way right here on Twitch.
I like the whole online challenge thing that the Chicago Red Stars players have going of I pledge X amount of dollars for this thing that happens in the game. So she's pledging, I think, $100 for every time that Roy Dames yells at her. And she's maxing that at $2,500. Nicely played, Kaylee Watt.
Yokoyama right at the end line. I like how even former Chicago Red Star Nikki Stanton's getting involved and donating money for every yellow card, which now we have one handed out to Sophie Schmidt, her first of the tournament.
And that's now 4 total yellow cards for Houston in the tournament, second in this game. Guessing the ref is calling it from Schmidt putting her legs through Yokoyama's legs, not really clear. Reset as a near corner, I guess you would call it.
McGrady lines up about 10 yards away from where you take the normal corner. McGrady and the Spirit looking to add one more goal to their total here before half. Inward swinging ball. This one played away by Stengel. This one fired and that one well off as the first half comes to a close. The Spirit will head into the locker room up 1-0. Goal coming from Bailey Feist, her first goal here in the NWSL Challenge Cup. Washington doing an excellent job possessing the ball in this opening 45. Houston will have to find a way to be more dangerous in that final third as they had struggled getting any shots on goal. Just the one by Rachel Daly that went off the crossbar. Couldn't tuck it in underneath as the Spirit will head to half up 1-0 as they look for their second win here in this NWSL Challenge Cup. We'll be more right back here at half on Twitch. You're watching the NWSL Challenge Cup presented by P&G Secret. We are at half. Washington up 1-0. Lone goal coming from Bailey Feist as we take a look back at the highlights between these two clubs.
Early on, we got a lot of Spirit. Corner kick coming in, headed down. But Rachel Daly saving that off the line to keep the Spirit scoreless. Love this team play as Jane Campbell comes out to the near post, but Daly calmly kicks it off the line, and her teammates help keep it further out of the goal. Then the 11th minute, Tori Huster, right side, give and go with her teammate over to Ashley Hatch's head, or maybe shoulder. But Campbell gets her hands on that cleanly. Then in the 16th minute, Spirit get on the board as Yokoyama sends a through ball to Hatch. Hatch to Feist. Finds that far left post. Jane Campbell not making the stretch. Feist getting her first goal of the tournament. That's a nice one. Far corner low, hard for a keeper to save. And again, the Spirit keep on coming. Yokoyama coming through to Hatch. Lots of traffic in front of that dash goal to keep that ball out. Good work by second-year player Ali Prysock to stay on Hatch. Late in the half, the dash finally break through to the other end. Christy Mewis sending a ball through to Rachel Daly. Onside, left foot hits the upper corner, but can't get it in. Best shot of the half for the Houston Dash.
Great looking shot there by Rachel Daly, but unable to tuck it underneath that crossbar. As we take a look at the stats from the opening 45, Jen, what else sticks out to you?
Dash have to get some shots on target, right? One is not going to do it for you. They also have to find more possession. We saw a little bit towards the end that they were getting into the game, finding their own rhythm, but this game has been so far all Washington Spirit. Lots of corners, lots of shots on goal, very calm, dominant possession.
And we know the Dash can be a dangerous team when in that final third, but have not had many opportunities here in the first half. Washington doing an excellent job of keeping the Dash out of that final third. We'll see what they do here in this next 45. Both teams looking to move up in the standings, as we will have a substitution. Starting out this second half, of course, both teams will have up to 5 subs each. And now we will see Jay Boissiere come in for the Spirit. Jay Boissiere will replace Tegan McGrady as we get set here. So a new left back for Richie Burke.
Just the second appearance of the tournament for Boissiere, one of many Stanford grads on this young Spirit squad. McGrady having started every match so far in the tournament. This is probably a mix of rest, rotation, and also she took a hard knock in the first half. She also had that tough collision at the end of the last game.
That's a nice thing for these coaches, as they have the luxury of 5 subs.
Probably doesn't feel like a luxury when they're factoring in heat and altitude and turf. But of course, Spirit had a nice amount of rest between their last game and this game, almost a week, where Houston had just 3 days.
Sullivan will just relax and play this back to Nielsen. So right now it looks like Dorian Bailey is sliding into that left back spot, and Jay Boissiere will be in the midfield. It's a little bit of slight change in the formation as well, with Boissiere coming on. Sullivan attacking through the middle. Hatch out to Yokoyama. Sullivan, the one thing she's gotten better at here these last couple of years is being more aggressive under Richie Burke in the offensive end.
#1 pick in 2018, not a great season. Of course, that was a very tough season.
Daly looking to send that one over Bledsoe. Just a poor shot selection.
Very tough season for 2018 for Spirit in 2018, but Sullivan really shined last year, starting all but one match. The only reason she didn't start match number 24 is because she was with the U.S. Women's National Team.
Sanchez, this year's #4 overall pick, striding forward. Schmidt right there to break up that. Feist with the right, and that one hops into the arms of Jane Campbell. Good tackle there by Sophie Schmidt. She was handed a yellow card late in the first half. Katie Naughton also received a yellow card for the Dash in the first half.
Dash now on 4 total yellows for the tournament. Just like Utah. One other team has 4. I'm blanking right now. 2 players in this game getting yellows, but 4 overall. And of course, your yellow card accumulation does not clear until after the quarterfinals. So if any of the players with 1 yellow get a second, they're sitting out a game.
Chapman.
And speaking of yellow cards, we should probably talk about the referees. We haven't given a shout out to today's official, Katya Koroleva.
Feist right down the spine, drops it back, Sanchez. Boissiere. Sullivan's the injured Spirit player down on the ground. So the captain's slow to get up, as Huster will play this out.
Looks like Katya Koroleva is making the signal to bring out the stretcher. Koroleva, longtime NWSL referee, also part of the officiating crew for the 2019 Women's World Cup. And if you're curious about the referees in this tournament, are they in the bubble and how things work? I just tweeted from my account, Keeper Notes, some background on the referees. Looking at that replay for Sullivan, just looks like an awkward step.
We hope it's nothing serious, where her knee just locked up on her as she was planning to pass the ball. You can see the worried look on Richie Burke.
Here comes the stretcher, not a good sign.
So for Washington, they used a sub to start this half, and Jay Boissiere. And it's looking like we will see a second substitution for the Spirit.
Each team allowed 5 per game, and you are allowed to suit up everybody that you brought up to 28 players. And like I mentioned, if you're curious about the referees and how their life works, I just tweeted an article from Keeper Notes about how the referees were involved in planning, how they had to commit to being on site in Utah in the bubble for a good 5 to 6 weeks. So there's a crew of 12 referees rotating through. And you can always check out before any NWSL game or even MLS game, you can go to the pro referees website and see who's been assigned what games.
So great to see Sullivan get up under her own power and not have to be stretched out there as she comes off the field. But I have to think with 4 more subs that Richie Burke will be using one of those here. You don't want to take any risk. You hope, again, this is nothing serious for Andi Sullivan. Such a key for that midfield for the Spirit. And everything she does, linking up the back line to the attackers.
And she's struggled off and on the last few years with some minor injuries. She had an ankle issue fall 2017, which kept her out of the final NCAA matches. So she didn't get to play in the 2017 final when Stanford won. And there we have Aubrey Bledsoe taking over the captain's armband.
And we were told that Maggie Doherty-Howard will be the substitution coming for Andi Sullivan. Sullivan, the #1 overall pick in 2018, won the Mac Herriman Award, also 3-time All-American at Stanford.
And one of those last few players under consideration for last year's World Cup squad that didn't make the final cut.
So now the 4th-year player, Maggie Doherty-Howard, out of Florida, will come in.
Maggie led the squad in fouls committed last year, but has yet to commit one in this tournament.
So we'll see how she slots into that midfield role. 2 subs now for the Spirit. Boissiere with the ball. She's the other sub as she plays it outside to Huster. Drop back for Nielsen. Bledsoe has just been tested once in this one. Yeah, the shot by Rachel Daly that hit off the crossbar as this is played up to midfield. Doherty-Howard with her first touch. Huster trying to turn away from Latsko. Chapman. Good job there by the pressure from Yokoyama. She thought it was off Chapman.
Chapman is the only player on the Dash squad who's been with the team since before 2016. She joined the Dash in 2015. Of course, was traded away briefly to Boston, returned via a trade with North Carolina after the Boston dispersal draft, but you can say she's got the longest history with the club.
Daly. Simon. Trying to find Mewis, and Mewis just out of reach. Latsko looking to get there at the end line. Great setup there. That one just too far for Christy Mewis. Maybe she's able to dive. She might be able to get her head on it. But that one finds its way out past the end line. Houston trailing by 1, but they have come behind in this tournament. They're going to do that once again today as Groom plays it near side to Stengel. Schmidt going over the top. Groom giving chase. And collision there. And Spirit come up with the ball. Groom wanted a foul. Feist, the lone goal scorer. Sanchez. There's going to be the foul call on Bailey Feist. Feist, one of 4 players from the Spirit from the city of Cincinnati.
Queen City. I like that nickname. Great article about the 4 players from Cincinnati on Beautiful Game Network. with even their recommendations for the best chili place in Cincinnati and the ice cream place. I love that.
Skyline Chili, of course, known throughout the world, or at least the States, about how good their chili is.
They probably don't ship internationally, though.
Nielsen began her career with FC Reign before heading overseas, and now coming back in her second year with the Spirit.
Of course, she's been in the league so long that back in the day it was called Seattle Reign. Then it was Reign FC. Now it's OL Reign. But it is the same entity this whole time, just for those that might be new to the league history.
OL Reign will, of course, have the Cascadia rivalry, that one tomorrow at 12:30 against Portland. Doherty Howard to Dorian Bailey. Again, Bailey now in that left back position with Tegan McGrady out. For the Spirit, they're looking for that second win and their first shutout here in this Challenge Cup. Last year they had 10 on the season. Chapman plays it out. Throw here for the Spirit. Chapman, the Canadian, trying to find Mewis. Sanchez looking to get by Simon. Gets to the end line. Sanchez pokes it to the 6, and that one smothered by Campbell. Great job there by Sanchez, getting by Aaron Simon. Finds space to send it back to the 6 to Ashley Hatch, who nearly snuck this one in. .43 assists for Ashley Sanchez at UCLA. That's best in school history, and she did that in 3 years. Nearly had her second assist right there of the Challenge Cup. Sanchez was one of those players called into the ID camp in December. Naughton sitting on a yellow card that she received in the first half, plays to Prysock. Also seeing that change. Prysock started off at the left center back position before sliding over to right center back. Megan Oyster getting a breather at the moment.
Sitting on a yellow, you got to be cautious. And it's great to see that versatility in a young player like Allie Prysock. Tough foul by Paige Nielsen. She's the teeth of the Spirit, as I like to say. And Daly usually suffering the brunt of any fouls committed against the Dash.
She always tends to get up, though. One of the toughest players in the NWSL. Of course, Rachel Daly, the highest English player drafted back in 2016 when she went number 6 overall to the Dash.
Nielsen coming from behind. Jumping up, getting the side of Rachel Daly's head, it looks like. Nielsen pleading her case with the referee, but we haven't seen yellow on that, right?
Washington yet to receive a yellow card in this Challenge Cup. North Carolina is the only other team that has not had a yellow card handed out.
And that is a potential tiebreaker. So our tiebreakers for the standings, head-to-head is first, but that's only if it's just two teams tied on points that played each other in the first round. Obviously, not everyone played all other teams in the first round. After that, it's your more traditional goal differential, then total goals scored, then, if necessary, accumulation of yellow and red cards. We've had no reds. And then after that, coin toss.
Mewis sends it up and just over and onto the top of the netting.
I like the thinking from Christy Mewis there. It's like, let's go ahead and take a shot on goal, see if Aubrey Bledsoe is paying attention.
Christy Mewis does have a goal here in this Challenge Cup. Okay, a surprise Aubrey Bledsoe on that one. And the collision between Latsko and Doherty Howard, and this will go in favor of the Spirit. For the Spirit, they now have 4 goals in this Challenge Cup. Meanwhile, Houston, they have 5 goals that they've scored, but they've also now conceded 6.
Houston tied with North Carolina for most goals so far in the tournament. Of course, 3 of their 5 coming in that opener against Utah. Dash held scoreless in their last game against Sky Blue.
Yokoyama. Yokoyama, really, these last 2 games have been her best for the Spirit.
She has been a great addition for Richie Burke's squad. Young player, but with so much experience, having started with Japan all the way back at the 2010 U17 Women's World Cup, where Japan finished 2nd. Brings a different element to this squad. So not only has he brought in a lot of top draft picks, but you're also bringing in international players and/or players who've played internationally with a different background than playing in NWSL.
The offseason really putting a stamp even more so on the Spirit Club.
Just like James Clarkson having a complete offseason for the first time, able to make the club roster more his own.
And running into Jane Campbell is Ashley Hatch.
Apologizes for the collision.
Ashley Hatch, 7 goals last year for the Spirit, matching her rookie year total when she was with North Carolina. Chapman reverses. Naughton. Groom dropping back deep. Quiet afternoon for Shea Groom so far. She's really had 1 attack in this one as that ball's knocked away by Boissiere.
She's not really getting the touches. You know, Mewis is pretty active, but we're just not seeing as many touches for Shea Groom. Latsko seems a little tentative up front. Still no subs for Houston at this point, though we are reaching that time of the game where we start seeing subs. Washington has used 2. And we do have a sub coming for Houston, and this is the kind of sub I like to see. Nichelle Prince, supposed to come on for Veronica Latsko.
An offside flag was up. Yokoyama continue to be a headache here for these NWSL teams as they adjust to her. Yokoyama, 2016 best 11 in Japan's top league.
And she's really been dominating that right flank. So dangerous in the first half, continues to be dangerous in this half.
Sanchez going shoulder to shoulder there with Simon. Simon wins that time.
Still waiting on Dash subs. We've got at least 1, possibly 2 coming up.
Prysock. Broom pressured, gives it away. Good hustle back there by Chapman. Prysock trying to split 2 defenders. Seeing some high pressure here from the Spirit, creating difficulties for the Houston Dash. And now we will see those 2 subs.
So Nichelle Prince is going to come on for Veronica Latsko, and Haley Hansen coming on for Aaron Simon. So I'm assuming Hansen's going to move into that right back position. Hansen had to play several games there at the end of last season for the Dash. Prince is her second appearance of the tournament. Second time off the bench. She missed some time with the team for family reasons, but was able to rejoin the club in the bubble and get back in the game.
Boissiere checks it down. Groom regains control. Groom falls over, and Boissiere doing a good job on Shea Groom. 2017 Jay Boissiere, College Cup's most outstanding player.
And she chose not to declare for the draft, instead heading to France.
Great slotted ball by Sanchez to Hatch. Hatch back up top, and that one blocked away. Schmidt in the right place for the Dash. Sanchez. Boissiere, and now they'll just reset and bring it all the way back. We've seen a couple times Ashley Sanchez on the dribble get by her defenders. Great threaded ball there to Ashley Hatch. Hatch trying to send it back up top. Sanchez still looking for that first NWSL goal.
And it's early. Don't put too much pressure on her, Josh. She's a rookie.
Stengel. Dash looking to level things up here. Right now, Dash third in the standings.
And again, we've got Alicia Chapman pushing way up on that left flank. Dash almost playing with a 3-back, with Sophie Schmidt dropping back. Very fluid formation here.
Feist. Yokoyama. Chapman wins that battle. Has Stengel up ahead. That's where she tries to go. Bailey back. Dorian Bailey able to cut off Katie Stengel, allowing Aubrey Bledsoe to come up and smother the ball.
Great vision from the Canadian defender. She's been pushing up that outside all game. Gets it through for Stengel.
Group to Stengel. Schmidt. Prince. Prince attacking that back line, but Yokoyama over to help out Tori Huser. Prince wins it back, sends it in with the right. Collision in the area. Stengel with some room to work with. Cuts to her left, firing, and that one headed away. She tried to curl that in back post, and right there was Paige Nielsen.
Nielsen coming in clutch. Rachel Daly asking the referee about, I guess, the stoppage in play. Prince sending it into the box. Stengel settling, looking around, left-footed to that far corner, but Paige Nielsen is there to head that out of danger.
Two good saves right near the back line of that goal line for both these two teams. Rachel Daly in the first half and Paige Nielsen right there for the Spirit.
Not clear if Stengel's goal would have found net if she wasn't there, but why take a chance?
Nielsen. Still hard sometimes to believe that the Spirit team is the youngest team in the NWSL, averaging 24 years of age. I guess when you only have one player over 30, that explains the reason. Brysock.
And it's got to be an advantage in a compressed schedule like this.
And here's the oldest player on the Spirit, and Tori Huser plays it back to Staub.
But we shouldn't call her old when there's a good 25 players in the tournament older than her. She's just got a very young group of teammates.
Yokoyama pushing forward. Sanchez going at Hansen to her right. One too many touches for Ashley Sanchez. Groom at midfield, striding forward. She has numbers with her. Trying to slide that one to Daly, but Daly on the right side of the pitch and Groom went to the left.
Daly actually held up her run. I love the Spirit defenders throw up their arms for the offside call, but Daly had actually stopped her run. Nice to see Groom getting some touches on the ball, getting an opportunity like that to go forward in possession.
Good threaded ball to Feist, but denied. Haley Hansen able to get her leg in between as we will have another substitution. Katie McClure will come on for Kumi Yokoyama. Kumi Yokoyama making another difference in today's game for the Spirit.
McClure getting her second appearance as a pro. Drafted this year out of Kansas. All smiles for Kumi Yokoyama.
Just about 20 minutes remains in this one as Washington looks to add to their goal total as this one's headed up by Naughton. The advantage of having a 5'11" center back right back there for the dash. Daly trying to find Prince, but that pass cut out. Staub making her way back after that throw. Boissiere. Sanchez cuts it inside, but not on the same page as Bailey Feist. Prince, the Canadian. Prince gets around Boissiere. Groom cutting inside. Back to Stengel. Stutters, fires away, and that one wide. Great hesitation there by Katie Stengel to give herself a little bit more room to work with. Just shot not on target.
Fed by Groom. Nice right-footed bullet to the upper corner, but a little too high to find net. Stengel still looking for her first goal in a Dash jersey. She does have an assist from the first game. You know, and Josh, we've had a third of the goals in this tournament have come after the 75th minute, but none of those have come from the Dash. Will we see them find their scoring shoes late?
Naughton plays this back to Campbell. Prysock comes out from the back. Connects with Hansen. Good job there by Sanchez coming over to break up that pass. Last year, these two teams tied twice. Houston also with one victory. They have their work cut out for them as they look to tie things up at one. Bailey Feist, the lone goal scorer. That one coming in the 16th minute. Houston doing a much better job here in the second half in that final third of creating opportunities. Just nothing to show for it as of yet. Spear with that solid back line of Tori Huster, Paige Nielsen, and Sam Staub, and now Doreen Bailey, who's dropped back. Tegan McGrady got the start and outside back, but she was subbed off. Boissiere. Boissiere last year played in France. As this is played up.
Sure, she was happy to join the Spirit with so many of her Stanford teammates there. That always helps joining a new club. Just like the Cincinnati connection we mentioned, you got four players that grew up in Cincinnati. Whatever connection you can offer to make a new player feel welcome.
You have the Kansas City connection on the other side for Houston, with 4 players being from that area. Prysock down the line, that pass cut out. Sanchez, room to work with Mewis, flying back. Sanchez trying to curl that into the center, but no Spirit player was able to get to that pass. Groom tripped up. And now we will see Brianna Vazali. She will come in for Katie Stengel. And this will most likely happen when we return, as we'll have a hydration break here. Washington up 1-0 against the Dash. You're watching the NWSL on Twitch. Welcome back. Coming out of the hydration break, Josh Toll and Jen Cooper with you. Spirit looking for their second win here in this Challenge Cup, looking to move up in the standings, have 5 teams sitting on 4 points. But here, with about this 15 minutes left, Jen, what are you looking for in terms of Houston having to make a run? Who do you think is going to be a bigger player in that attacking third?
Well, I want to see who the final sub is for James Clarkson's Houston Dash. And, of course, Vazali coming in for Stengel could help mix things up. Vazali having that hockey assist on one of the goals against the Reign. But they've got to be stronger in that midfield. I don't know if it's possessing the ball more or using the flanks more, but they are not finding their rhythm.
Here's a great look at Brie Vazali. Vazali, of course, one of those 3 players that played at West Ham United. 2 of them have seen action in this one, and Aaron Simon and now Vazali. Brooke Hendricks also played for West Ham. She's on Washington's squad.
So Dash still with 1 more sub of the total 5 that they can use. Spirit with a few more to use if they'd like. They've only used 2 so far. Excuse me, 3 so far.
Jenna Hellstrom now in for the Spirit as well. So Jenna Hellstrom, the Canadian, getting another game of action. Washington Spirit looking to hold on to this 1-0 lead. Houston looking for that late equalizer. Houston just ahead of Washington in the standings right now. The Dash sitting in the 3rd spot. Of course, the night game tonight, Chicago and Utah, and then 2 more great ones tomorrow. And then on to the knockout rounds. Quarterfinals will begin on Friday.
North Carolina taking the first quarterfinal. They'll meet whoever finishes 8th.
Hansen.
Of course, Washington and Houston, regardless of this result, are going to have to sit through 3 more games waiting to see how things fall.
And Brooke Hendricks also being inserted into the game. So Hendricks making her first NWSL appearance as Mewis cuts through the center. Mewis, that one flicked away. Feist plays it out wide, looking for Boissiere. Right there is Chapman.
And also Hellstrom for Hatch. So now Washington have used all 5 subs.
Brooke Hendricks, she's in her first season out of Southern Mississippi.
First NWSL season.
Campbell just allowed the 1 goal here in the 16th minute, but other than that, she's been solid through the rest of the game. Daly trying the back heel, couldn't get a piece of it. Dash looking to prevent back-to-back losses. as Daly now forces Aubrey Bledsoe to pick up the ball and play it. Well, Dash have the ability to score, but right now it just looks like they need to get a little bit better in that midfield. And moving the ball up the pitch. Chapman.
So much great work on that left flank by Chapman today, trying to connect with her Canadian teammate Nichelle Prince. Prince looked so good last spring in preseason for Houston, had the opening goal in their opening game, left for the World Cup and was unable to play afterwards due to a knee injury, though she did get 1 goal for Canada at the World Cup. She could be a really important piece as Houston heads into the quarterfinals since she has not played a lot of minutes.
Throw here for Houston. Both these two teams sitting on 4 points in the standings. Prince. Mewis. Mewis denied there by Boissiere, but pushed down to the ground. Free kick for the Dash. Schmidt. Boissiere takes possession. Casali getting her first touch and will have a foul at the circle.
Chapman, no NWSL goals yet in her career here, but I'd be really surprised if we don't see one by the end of this tournament, Josh.
She's been very active, like you said, on that left flank today for the Dash as Naughton strides forward. Hansen with the left foot, looking for Prince, headed away. Boissiere sends it towards midfield.
Prysock looking more and more comfortable in that center back role. She's someone that assistant coach Twyla Kaufman has talked about, has so much potential and has grown so much from rookie year to second year. There's a nice profile on Ali Prysock on Dynamo Theory where she talked about the most memorable games for her last year were both games where the Dash lost. The horrible 5-0 loss at Portland in front of 25,000 fans, but also the 1-0 loss where they held North Carolina scoreless till the 87th minute.
Zolli sends it towards the spot, and that one cleared off. Hansen.
Another great header save near the line from
Right
Nielsen.
back in, and that one gets by 2 Dash players. It looked like Daly was on the front end of it, and Mewis on the back. Great pass through, just unable to get a boot on it.
Hansen to Vazzali. Vazzali, nice ball into the middle. Looked like Daly was trying to dummy it, but Mewis couldn't quite connect behind her. That would have been a goal for sure.
Great pass there by Vazzali. Vazzali coming on the field and making an impact right away for the Dash.
She was the last player to join this squad, coming to Houston about late May. Everyone else had been in quarantine the whole time with preseason shut down.
Prysock. Hansen. Schmidt lines it up, sends it back post area. They're trying to go to the backside of the box there at the top. Just unable to get ahead on it was Nichelle Prince and Christy Mewis.
And it sounds like we're going to have the final sub of the game, the last one for the Dash, coming up pretty soon. We're hearing it'll be Cece Kaiser, another second-year player for the Dash, coming in for Shea Groom.
Here is Shea Groom. Finds Vazzali. Vazzali. Back post, and that one played out by Brooke Hendricks.
No one there to connect.
Across the end line, allowing her team to reset. Mewis.
love you can hear Aubrey Bledsoe yell, "Who has Daly?"
You got to know your players. You got to target, especially on those corner pieces. You've seen the dash score on a corner piece. McClure.
And that was their first corner of this game.
Doherty Howard back outside Boissiere. Hendricks. Hendricks plays this all the way back to Bledsoe. Near miss pass. Daly almost got on top of it. Takes a deflection. Daly still in the area. Stop. Plays it back to Bledsoe. Sends it up. Soccer fans, the official shop of the NWSL is coming soon. Visit NWSLshop.com now and sign up to be the first to receive special offers and promotions. NWSLshop.com, the official place to gear up and support your favorite team, coming soon.
And there we see the final set for the dash. CC Kaiser coming on for Shea Groom. CC Kaiser moving to jersey number 5 this year. Last year she wore 15, but 5 became open this year, and she's the 5th of 7 children, so that's her preferred number.
I love that story. Her dad at games calling her Fiver.
Yeah.
Prysock. Naughton. Just a little bit more than 3 minutes remains of this, and plus whatever's added on in stoppage. Houston looking for a late equalizer. Schmidt. Ahead to Kaiser, able to get in front of Hellstrom. Kaiser to Prince. Boissiere just drops it back to Huster. Casali trying to be a pest over there on Huster. Schmidt. Out wide is Chapman. Chapman trying to elude Boissiere. Prysock well up. Hansen. Daly trying to link up with Prince, but that pass cut out. Dorian Bailey able to get a boot on that. Offside flag, though, was up. Aubrey Bledsoe and the Washington Spirit looking for their first clean sheet of this Challenge Cup.
And this would be their first win over the Houston Dash since June 2017. Here we had a quick look at NWSL Commissioner Lisa Baird.
Spirit looking to add one more goal to their total. Goal differential can play a factor in this one.
And if this result holds, Josh, Washington's temporarily in second place. Of course, we've got 3 more matches to play, 3 more teams that could end up on 7 points. Houston would be at negative goal differential, but more goals scored than most teams, so kind of in the mix for tiebreakers.
Staub. That dangerous left foot looks to send it in. Played back by Bailey. Houston looking for that late goal. They were shut out in last game by Sky Blue FC. Some sort of rhythm going into that knockout round as this is played all the way up, and once again, no one up front for the Dash. We've seen that happen here today for Houston, where they'll send that long ball forward, but no one up front.
Like that pressure from Rachel Daly, since Aubrey Bledsoe did not have the ball in her hands, she could go all the way to the keeper and pressure that. Once Bledsoe has it in her hand, she can't pressure her. Of course, there she was yelling that Bledsoe was taking too long to kick the ball away.
6 minutes of stoppage time will be added on in this one. Washington looking for their second win in the Challenge Cup. Prysock trying to thread that one to Hansen.
Now, we did see the injury to Andy Sullivan took some time. A lot of subs, the hydration break. We've only seen 2 goals in stoppage time in this tournament so far. Lynn Williams game winner in the opening match. And then that dramatic goal by Bethany Balser to give Reign their first goal and their first win last Wednesday.
Prysock relays it back. Campbell sends it deep over the head of Prince. Some jersey grabbing going on there. Let's see, they're going to call this actually against Nichelle Prince. Like each player had a fair share of jersey in their hand. Jenna Hellstrom, the other player involved for the Spirit.
Hellstrom, Nichelle's teammate on the Canadian national team. They've probably done that in training a lot. Bledsoe on the verge of her first shutout in this tournament.
9 last season as she was awarded goalkeeper of the year. Stop. Plays it all the way back to Bledsoe. Brought down by Schmidt. Trying to find Vizzali. Vizzali making a run, and Bledsoe coming out to smother that ball. Vizzali's been dangerous here with a pass and then a great run.
Wonderful look from Schmidt through the middle for the onrushing Vizzali, but Aubrey Bledsoe comes out, slides on that just before Vizzali can get a touch.
Great looking setup there by Schmidt, just unable to finish with the pass in the area. That one nearly went out across the end line. Campbell just barely able to keep it in. Good turn by Schmidt. Kaiser. Hansen. Back post. And Huster clears it away.
Great build-up play from Houston. And that will be just the second corner that they've had in this game, both of them coming in the second half. They got a goal off of a corner before. Can they do it again?
Lewis. Prysock goes up, not in there too. Schmidt. That one knotted down by Hendricks. Oh, Brooke Hendricks, 5'11", going up to get that ball.
Nice ball from Chapman to keep that in play, but Schmidt sends it wide and over. Sure, Bledsoe's going to take a little time to reset this. Ref already whistles at her.
Great
like,
look
come on.
at our secret virtual watch party, powered by Google Meet.
Love those scarves. I hope there's some Challenge Cup scarves on NWSLshop.com.
Just a couple minutes remains as Washington looks for their second win. Vizzali going up to get that, trying to find Prince. Prince looking to squeeze by Hendricks. Hendricks plays it out. Prince sends it into the area. And that one stopped by Bledsoe. Daly was able to go up and get her head on it. Bledsoe making sure that she got to that far post to cover up that ball. Great stop there by Bledsoe late. It may have gone wide, but Bledsoe doing everything in her power to make sure there's no mistake. Great chance there at the end for the Dash. A great ball in, finding the head of Rachel Daly. We've seen Daly connect with her head before and put him in the back of the net. Just on that one, Aubrey Bledsoe was ready.
And she has not been tested much this game.
Thinking maybe we could have that third stoppage time goal here in this Challenge Cup.
And the shutout is crucial, not just for Bledsoe, but for Washington, as it means they're level on goal differential. Could be a very important tiebreaker in the final standings.
Schmidt had to do everything she could to keep that one in. Now Staub, always so dangerous wherever she is when she throws the ball in. You can see just how she chucks it down this line, going the other side of the field. Between her and Jess McDonald, no two players do it better. And there is the final whistle, and the Spirit will get the win 1-0 over the Dash. A hard-fought victory for Richie Burke and his club. Dash showed some promise late, but were unable to find that final goal to get an equalizer. We will have highlights and stats. You are watching the NWSL Challenge Cup on Twitch. Washington able to come up with an important 3 points as they get the win today, 1-0 over the Houston Dash, as we take a look back at the highlights from the 90 between these two teams.
Early on, we saw a lot of Washington Spirit attack, a lot of it coming that right flank from Yokoyama. Yokoyama to Hatch, to Bailey Feist for her first goal of the NWSL Challenge Cup, getting it in that far left corner past Jane Campbell to put the Spirit up 1-0. Wasn't till late in the first half the Dash had a look on goal. Mew was sending ball through to an on-rushing Daly. Left foots it. Hits that upper crossbar, maybe post. Best shot of the half. And then second half, more attack from the Spirit, though Dash slowly getting into the game. Sanchez sending it through to Hatch. One touch for Hatch, but Campbell shuts that down near post. Stoppage time, probably best opportunity for the Dash all game. Sophie Schmidt through ball to Brie Vazali. Oh, can she get a touch on it before Bledsoe gets there? No. And then in the last gasp, last chance for Dash, Nichelle Prince crossing into the box. Daly header. Bledsoe grabs it, brings it down just to make sure it's not going in the goal. She gets her first shutout of the tournament.
And looking at the stats in this one, Washington possessed in the first half. They did it again in the second. Biggest issue for Dash, just one shot on goal, especially when you have players like Christy Mewis, Shea Groom, as well as Rachel Daly up top. They got to find a better way to be more dangerous in that final third come the knockout stage.
Big opportunity loss for the Dash to move ahead. Right now, they're very much in the middle of the table with a negative goal differential. Washington Spirit now with 7 points temporarily in second. We'll see how the other games play out. And speaking of other games, tonight we have Chicago versus Utah Royals, 10 o'clock Eastern. And tomorrow we conclude the first round. Reign Portland Thorns. I love the Cascadia matchup. And our finale, Sky Blue FC against North Carolina. Can they take points against the Courage? No one else has so far.
Chicago hoping to get their first win of the tournament tonight against Utah. For Portland, they're also looking for their first as they look to get it in the Cascadia rivalry as that makes its way east. And that one will be played tomorrow. But another great one to begin this game for this one. Washington coming up victorious, 1-0 the final score, and the first shutout for Aubrey Bledsoe in the Spirit squad as they look to build into the quarterfinals. That will begin on Friday for our crew. Jen Cooper, I'm Josh Toll. We'll see you back here on Twitch tonight at 10 p.m.